when the war broke out on April 15th, so it was actually quite funny. It was not funny, but I had contact with my cousins in Sudan and my family in Sudan, but I wasn't checking in on them as much as I should have, just purely on the basis that they're family. And I think when the war broke out, I like something in me just like obviously they're my family and I was worried about them, so I was texting them constantly every single day from when they made their journey from Sudan to Egypt or um, Sudan to Qatar. And it was really really hard, honestly, and I'm trying not to cry. But it was really really hard because like I think my whole life I grew up not being like close to my identity. I found it really hard growing up to be Sudanese, and even when I met my Sudanese group at university, I still felt other because I didn't speak Arabic. And yeah, it was just I guess it was like, okay, I felt to myself like I'm not going to force myself to be Sudanese. Even if I am Sudanese, I'm not going to force myself to be part of that community. And I think when the war broke out, that's what specifically at that time, it was when I said to myself, okay, like something needs to be done. Like I need to be so much more proud to be Sudanese. I need to message all my friends and my cousins and like make sure that everybody is okay. And like, I think it was kind of like I don't know, it was like I don't know what to call it in English, but it was like a eureka moment. It was like, okay, like it was a wake up call. Like, Riham, you need to be proud of who you are. You need to go and check up on your family. And I think sometimes I'm the sort of person where I would ignore a situation if I know that I'm going to get upset about it. So I just kind of like put it in the back of my mind. But sometimes I just need to like sit down and actually face the problem. And the problem was that I was not reaching out to my family. I was not being proud of being Sudanese. I was not, being up to date on what's happening in Sudan. So yeah, I would definitely say that the war has affected me a lot in that aspect because I always feel like now, like, Riham, you should just be so grateful for like, for everything in this life. And then it takes me back to that question that I mentioned earlier. It's like, okay, what if Mama and Baba didn't come to this country? I would be in that situation that they were in. So it's like, yeah, it has been really hard and it has taken a huge toll on me. And I think I'm the sort of person in my family where I don't cry in front of my parents, I don't cry in front of my siblings. And so I was actually in university up in Leeds when I found out that the war started. I remember just crying every single night and like praying to God every single night, like, Ya Rab, like I hope everybody is okay, and and God forbid anything happened to anybody, like that would break me. And so yeah, the war has taken a huge toll on me, and I actually even there was so many Sudanese people at my university actually who applied for extensions on coursework and stuff because it was just such a dark time at university. And I think it was even sadder that it wasn't being spoken about, and I think it felt like we were all as a community just dealing with this by ourselves.
It's affected me really badly. Um, at first, because I'm in contact with my family, so when the war first broke out last year, everyone thought maybe it will be another like temporary thing. Maybe it won't be like as destructive as it has obviously been. But majority of my family managed to get out. It's just my grandma, who swore up and down that she's not leaving Sudan, has just she's still in Sudan. Unfortunately, she's not leaving, and yeah. So it's still affecting me. I really want my grandma to get out now. Um, so yeah, the war is just something that um, yeah, it's affected me really badly, basically, and I wish it would stop, but there's other factors into it, and things happen, and yeah. But I just hope everyone is well. I hope there's no more destruction, and I hope Sudan can go back to what it has been and better, inshallah.
I think the biggest effect that the war has had on me is seeing what my close friends and family have been through. So obviously seeing my mum being in touch with like her family and like tracking to see whether they made it to Egypt or not um, affected us all negatively. Even seeing like random clips on social media of Sudani people just speaking about their experiences, I don't think that's something that anyone would like want to watch. I can't say that it's affected me to the extent that it's affected Sudanese that have actually had first-hand experience on fleeing Sudan, because obviously that's not something that I can say that, oh, I've experienced that and it was so bad and stuff, but I can only imagine what it was like for them. Even though I haven't experienced it myself directly, I think all diaspora are still very much affected by what's going on in Sudan. And a lot of Sudanese people would think that because we're away from the situation that we don't care, or we're not as upset about the situation, but it is all that we think about as well. We wake up, we see it on social media, we hear our parents talking to our family members about the situation in Sudan. So it really does take a toll on us as well. And especially the fact that we're so far away, it feels like there's not much that we can do to help either. So I think that's the main effect that it has on me.
It's taken a toll on my family in Sudan. So most of them have moved out of like their homes, and so they've gone to other regions. And it's quite hard because like they weren't prepared for it. So they don't know if their homes have been broken into, when they're going to go back. So it's quite hard. But and then we have some family members who haven't been able to leave. So it's just a waiting game. So yeah, it's definitely taken a toll. But they're strong and they're resilient, and they're doing what they need to do and making the most out of the situation.
It's obviously been a massively challenging time for, particularly the people in Sudan who were internally displaced, like many of my family and friends, and also many who managed to, seek refuge outside of Sudan. Fortunate enough to get out. I remember vividly, I think someone in my family saying, you never expect to wake up or, something to happen and for your family to become refugees. I think it's a really harrowing experience when it's put like that, because I think, now all of us have probably been through that experience. I guess in terms of the sort of Sudanese collective or diaspora, I feel like with good reason, apart from obviously the massive, sort of loss of life, like all of the deaths, that's hugely harrowing. And yeah, so many people, like innocent people have been killed. I think one of the things that is also sad is the hope that we lost through, a peaceful and civilian-led revolution. And I think from sort of an individual point of view, it's been challenging to see how like Sudanese lives and Sudanese people have been treated in a really extremely challenging situation compared to other lives. And I think that's probably something that will stick with many of us for a long time. And I guess it gives us more fire to be the ones that have to champion ourselves, because that's really kind of the reality we've seen over the last year.